Champions, welcome. The squares have aligned and bingo is nigh. It's time for the opening game of Elden Squares Season 3. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, we have none other than the inventor of Scadu Bingo, the greatest bingo coach on planet Earth, none other than the Professor Rambler. And his teammate, the man who has won the Moonwalk champion, one of the best DLC players in the world, Jay the Joker. And now for their opponents, fighting out of the red corner, we have the man who made this entire event possible. One of the greatest coder in Elden Ring Souls, and a man who is incredibly accomplished across many aspects of bingo, rando, and fucking goat, sci-fi, and his teammate, the reigning, defending, undisputed Elden Bingo Lord, none other than Shura the Absolute. Now let's go ahead and run that board and square off. All right.
Beautiful. Fucking beautiful.
Well, we're
back, ladies and gentlemen.
I clicked a button, so chat, you're going to be able to see the board a little early. But we will go ahead and start the match. Here we go.
Beautiful.
All right, so let's take a look at the board here. I will point out some of the big kill squares here to look for. Starting with, obviously, the center square, Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. This is a very good square. So if anyone does not know this format, you need to get 2 remembrances in order to access the DLC. Any 2 remembrances can be killed, and actually there are 23 out of the 26 remembrances in play. Every single remembrance can be killed in this format, with the exception of Elden Beast, Radagon, or Elden Beast, Horaloo, and Consort Radahn. So Rykard is a great one to do early and potentially get into the DLC that way, as well as the fact that it is center square. Looking at the top row, we have Metter, right? Metter is probably the latest square on the board, but we still could see it done throughout the season. It is not throughout the game. It is not a guarantee. I will say though, if a bingo gets popped at any point, you're probably not going to see this square because it is just the latest square in the set. However, it does have really nice synergy with the dupe. In row number 2, obviously we have 2 massive squares with Mesmer the Impaler right next to Melania, Goddess of Barat. We also have Flying Dragon Grail. That is a square that I saw that has been done very early. That is the Bridge Grail. Actually, it was done really early in a Crucible match yesterday, or a Crucible practice game yesterday, so it can be done really early. In the 3rd row, Imbibe at St. Trina's Nectar is effectively PK, Putrescent Knight. Obviously that Rykard, and we have Valiant Gargoyles. In the 4th row, Consecrated Deathrite Bird, Furnace Golem, Goldfree. Maybe we see a capital play here with that Goldfree on the board. And then bottom row, a lot of DLC in this bottom row. Moonrathil, Egon's Furled Finger, Oathseeker Knight, Sword of Light and Dark. I mean, overall, it is looking like there is quite a bit of DLC on this board. Particularly
13 DLC squares. So
Yeah, particularly
just
that bottom
barely
row.
leaning DLC heavy.
Yeah, just barely leaning DLC heavy. I would expect for the rush, you know, Grail is a potential pretty early rush square to do. I think sending someone to Rykard is potentially paramount.
Yep.
And or just getting access to that DLC. I think there's going to be an interesting question for the DLC player on this board of
Yes.
do we want to just get DLC access as soon as possible? Or do we want to try to greed for that Rykard square? Because I will say, with the exception of Moonratho, the DLC squares are somewhat later, right?
Yeah.
The Black Knife set in Oathseeker is pretty quick to do. The only thing is you need Altus access. So there are two major progression steps in this format, both Altus access and two remembrances. Those are kind of the two major progression steps here. Also, we have fantastic weapons for both these teams. It looks like, so I have Shura and Jay on the top row. They are, as far as I know, coming into this, the primary DLC players for these teams. They are going to be in the top row. And then Rambler and Sci-Fi, both the primary base game players, in the bottom. Both the DLC players are rocking Great Stars to start, and the base game players are both rocking the Star Fists.
Yep. Both smithing weapons. Smithing weapons have been changed in this format. How much does it cost to upgrade?
Yes, it is only one per upgrade. So smithing weapons are really strong, like arguably meta, particularly in the DLC. Having status or dual status is just massive because players do not get that much help here.
No,
they
barely have enough to level up.
Yeah.
You get like a couple thousand runes to start.
Well, I meant like when you go to the DLC, right? They get some flask upgrades. Specifically, you get 5 sacred tears and 5 golden seeds when you kill 2 remembrances and get DLC access. You also get some extra flax when you get to Altus. You can also pick things up. But overall, you are very weak.
Yeah.
So having that dual status for the DLC is very important. I
think also it incentivizes the Rykard play here a little bit. It's 200,000 runes plus noble, like 250,000 runes before you get into DLC could help a lot instead of like maybe rushing Godric, Radon, Godric, Renala. You also get Center Square, especially with a later game DLC board. Maybe buffing up a little bit before you go in could end up saving you time in the long run.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic board and a really interesting one to play.
Yep. And Jay and Shura both grabbing wild strikes there to put on their great stars. Pretty basic heads up play, but a very strong Ash of War to have, especially on that weapon. Yeah, both thinking the exact same thing. It looks like pushing straight to Godric. We will see them both just blitzing the DLC here.
Yeah, so if they are doing, I will let you know. So you guys might be like, oh my God, Shura and Jay are doing like the exact same thing, which they are. There are kind of a few plays, right? If you think about it as if you're familiar with chess, if you think about like your opening in chess, particularly for the DLC player of each team, there are kind of certain openings and plays that you do in order to get to the DLC. Godric Renala is the fastest possible way to get to the DLC. And that is, for the top players, completely scripted at this point, right? Like they have optimized a route in order to get to the DLC as fast as possible. It is not a coincidence whatsoever that we see both of these two players kind of doing the exact same thing here in their preparation. So they go grab wild strikes. Then they're going to go get their 1s, 2s, and 3s. If they have the money, they'll upgrade to +9. And then they will go kill Godric, Red Wolf, Margit, Renala in order to get to the DLC. I think for me, at least, I know this was something, if you were not aware, we did a Veil Break event. That was where we kind of tested the format. Jay is incredibly strong in the DLC from Veilbreak.
Yep.
I think if he had one weakness, it was sometimes not getting into the DLC on time, you know, whether it was a death to Renala or Red Wolf or whatever, it'd be just, you know, a mistake, right? Because he's not, comparatively, he is one of the best DLC bingo players, but not quite as strong in base game.
Yeah, definitely. If there's one knock you have on Jay, in this format, it was maybe a little weaker in the base game, which once he gets into the DLC, obviously this one of the strongest players we have, but that was the one knock you could give. I know he's been working on it. He really was, after the Veil Break kind of practice tournament, ready to buckle down and just iron that out. So I'm curious to see how this looks out of him.
Yeah, I agree, because I think, you know, going up against Shura, obviously Shura literally played in the finals of Scattered Bingo Omen Veil today. He unfortunately lost to Strump. Unfortunate for sure. Great congratulations to Strump. But yeah, he's an incredibly good DLC player as well, right? And he's the reigning champ of Elden Squares, right? So I think it is paramount for Jay to get into the DLC on time, especially on such a DLC heavy board. And the other thing that's great too is actually, you know, we have Rambler and Sci-Fi, right? Two players who are really jack of all trades, right? Certain players in this format have specializations, right? Sci-Fi and Rambler, like, for their team, they've obviously been playing the base game player role, but they can, if they had a different teammate, they could very easily be doing the DLC player role. So I think this is kind of a great board for these guys, because it's 4 fantastic DLC players on a board that is majority DLC.
Definitely. I mean, there's an argument, I think, for both teams that at some point you get a second player into the DLC later in the game if it gets pushed, just to take an advantage there. If you have a strong base game start, that's probably worth your time, almost certainly.
Yeah, I think
So
you're
I'm curious to see how both teams strategize that idea as well, because that is probably the biggest point of maybe development, is how your team splits base game DLC. Do you have both players spend time early in base game? Do you eventually send both players to DLC? Do you just split it up between your players?
Mm-hmm. And another thing, obviously I am saying this because, look, let's be honest, we want to see it happen, right? But I think Melania could potentially be a big square here because of the cash injection that it gives you, as well as the fact that Melania can be one of your 2 remembrances to enter the DLC, right? Any 2 remembrances work. So potentially a late Melania kill, sparking DLC access for either Sci-Fi or a Rambler, and then they could come in and steal a square like Imbibe or Furnace Golem with the Furnace Pot tech. Something of that nature could be very strong.
Definitely. And already Jay actually with a decent lead, probably about 20 seconds ahead of Shura here. Shura had some issues with the Ray Lucaria skip, so we're talking about Jay's speed on getting into the DLC, and Shura, one of the fastest base game players, is behind him. So clearly, you know, at least routing wise, Jay is already ironed out and figured out exactly what he wants to do to get there, which is good to see.
Yeah, Shura was ahead, but then had issues with the skip that cost him. Oh my God, this dog. Ooh, that was totally not scary at all. Also want to say thank you so much to SFP and Radium for the resubs. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Edmonton Rambler running to Hoarfrost Stomp right now. He will be getting Frost Balls. Very, I think, clear thing to do right here.
Yep, and we are about to see double Red Wolf on the screen here from Shura and Jay, both of them using that magic grease and going in. Now, if anyone's curious why you kill Red Wolf first, the main reason is because you can get the Frost Wet Blade here. So both players in this format, you start with the Whetstone Knife, but not any Wet Blades. So once you kill Red Wolf, you can get Wild Strikes with Cold Affinity that you can use for Margit and Godric and Renala.
Oh my God, Jay barely survives there. That was close.
Big stagger for Jay. Very nice, Red Wolf.
Just barely staying ahead of Shura. It's going to be a close race on the DLC here.
Yep. Very nicely done by both players. The other question too is it would surprise me. Do we see either of them greed for Rykard? To be honest, I don't expect it, but
no,
it is
I think
possible.
There's too much value in the DLC. I think both teams are probably seeing that and saying, you know, it would be nice to get the middle square, but let the base game player worry about that. And I will just get to the DLC as fast as I can and start getting squares, start leveling up so I can actually approach some of those DLC squares that are going to be harder.
And Rambler misses the Celia skip, the skip that he detests so much. And yeah, Shura and Jay are continuing their preparation here. Both of them are going into Margit, so we'll put them back front and center once again.
Oh, this is a tight race already for the DLC.
Yeah, I think, you know, getting there first is important because you would have priority on whatever the opening play is, but I don't know that there's necessarily an obvious first play here. I think South looks decently strong. I think back section is decent with the Meteor and the dupe, also the mounted bosses. Moonrathil is potentially a very good quick one that would probably be in theory the easiest, but doing doing Godric Renala into Moonrathil is very tricky because you're gonna be like one shot, almost guaranteed.
You're almost certainly one shot. There's just not enough runes to get the Vig you'll need. I mean, for really anything in the DLC, I think the question you have to look at first is how am I gonna get just a little levels, just a bit more character progression before I really approach anything in the DLC. What rune pickups can I look at? Maybe what square am I willing to do that I practiced well enough that will give me some runes? But that is going to be, I think, the question for both DLC players is how do I approach my start of the DLC pretty underleveled?
Yeah, and I will say one thing to know here for anyone who's seeing this in the first time, if you didn't catch the Veilbreak events, every single bingo format has kind of different pacing to it, right? If you've seen both base game and DLC bingo, like just different formats as a result to square set and stuff have a different pace, right? This one is pretty unique. It is very slow in terms of there's a lot of action going on because everyone's prepping, right? But in terms of square count, not a lot's going to show up here for the first 20 to 30 minutes. And then it explodes, right? So kind of as a player, for the first 20 to 30 minutes, you're kind of preparing, you have come up with your plan and you're putting yourself in a position to execute your plan. Then you kind of both teams play out their plan, see what happens. And then at that point, it's kind of just read and react for the rest of the game. It becomes very fast paced, very chaotic. And you have to adapt to that situation.
Yeah, I think that's like another huge difficulty in this format is you spend a lot of time prepping and then it is so fast. Like the actual game times, like nothing goes to 2 hours. It does not happen.
Yeah. And we have double Godric on the screen. Go ahead.
And maybe sure just a touch ahead here now, finally.
Yeah, sure. It does seem to have clawed back a little bit of time in that Stormville running section.
But Jay's fight may be going just a touch better here. Godric being a little more friendly towards him. It's close, though. Holy, both these players, so good.
Meanwhile, Sci-Fi has officially made it to Altus. So once you get to Altus, he will get a bunch of new graces. As both players get that kill here.
And Rambler going for our first square on the board, actually, as both players finish up Godric. Rambler is at Flying Dragon Grail.
Yes, Rambler is at Flying Dragon Grail, so we'll go full screen with Rambler.
He is one shot, 100%. The damage is not insane, but he does have frost balls. So as soon as he gets those status effects off, he'll be in a decent spot. There's the bleed.
Yeah, I think, look, you're going to see this a lot throughout the season. These are some of the best players in the world, right? Like, you know, no question about it. These are some of the best players in the world. And you're going to see a lot of times where they just bet on themselves to make a play. Something like early Flying Dragon Grail is one of these examples, right? Where Rambler just says, simply don't get hit, right? Like there is nothing else to it other than simply don't get hit and be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that damage is... It's not good. You're going to have to work for this fight. For as much as you're given in this format, you do not end up absolutely juiced or anything. Oh, great punish there into the riposte. Holy.
Rambler just needs one more status proc, or really just one more hit, and there it goes. Right? He made it look easy. Hitless Flying Dragon Grail, and that is the first square of the season in Elden Squares Season 3. Rambler is the one to claim it.
No one deserves it more.
And we will go back with our two DLC players as they both go kill Winala, and this will give them DLC access. Yeah, that's also like, so to Shaka's point there, it is a bunch of early runes. That square, as well as particularly Grail without status effects, are two that have been really optimized to do with very low damage. Because not only is it an early square, which is just great to have, but when you're level, I don't know, 15 or whatever the hell Rambler was, getting 90k runes or 80k runes is massive. Shura narrowly misses out on the one cycle, but Jay gets it. So Jay's going to make up a lot of time here.
Yep, sure was just a touch short on his stamina regen. He got a little greedy. But he's not even that far. Shura really got lucky on the kid spawns there and managed to stay in it.
Shura getting some bad RNG with the moon there. Oh, Jay gets clocked.
Yeah, that staff attack, if it does hit. Not the most friendly attack.
Big stagger there for Shura. Big bleed for Jay. And Jay I think this riposte will kill for Jay. It does. And Shura is very close here.
Yeah, she's doing a little stalling. Depending on what she summons, was the dragon good?
And Shura gets it down. Now we're going to go full screen with Sci-Fi as he is going for Radon.
And what's the thought process behind Radon here? I mean, big runes, obviously. That's going to be one of your remembrances if you do need to push DLC later.
It's a mounted boss.
Yep, that's true.
Money.
That could be it. That's probably enough.
Dragonkin and guards. Guards, Dragonkin. Yeah.
Also, with the spiky balls here, just an easy first kill, to be honest. Those runes are going to make his game a lot easier.
Yeah.
As we see, he's about to push into phase 2.
Ooh, he does get clocked, though, and lives. To be honest, I would have gotten hit there, too. I did not expect him to do an attack. I thought he would immediately phase.
Yeah, 100%. You do not.
Also, Shura really and Jay are both in the same spot in the DLC, and they are they racing for Red Bear and Rao?
I think so.
You know, this would be insane because as far as I know, the actual bear is the meta, but if one of them were to go for the Red Bear NPC, it could potentially be faster, but it sounds like hell because you're probably one shot to that guy who's a bastard.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, this appears to just be a straight up race for Red Bear and Rao.
Yeah, I think the bear is not scripted, but they're so familiar with it.
And upgrade stones, yes.
Yep.
So they do not automatically get max level weapons. They have to pick up stones throughout the world to upgrade their weapon, right? Okay, so never mind. Jay is not going for Red Bear. Jay is just going straight into the forge to upgrade his weapon.
Yeah. I think this is the more reasonable play. This is what a lot of people do when they get into the DLC. Set up their weapon first and start approaching squares. I know Shura has really been toying with how little can I upgrade and take on bosses.
Yeah, because I think Shura's
He's been
only
the one pushing that.
Shura's in the DLC with a plus 12, plus 9, plus 12, one of those two. And I think he's going to go straight ahead and kill this Red Bear. So obviously
which is insane.
Incredibly low damage. You do start at Scouting 5, so that's a good help, but he's like plus 12, he's either plus 9 or plus 12 and has like, I don't know, 25 big, maybe. That's kind of being generous. Probably less.
Yeah. I mean, you're maybe take a hit. I kind of doubt it.
Okay, according to Tony, thank you, Tony. He is Scadu 6 with plus 9 double status. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi here is going straight for Commander Nile. He's going to use the Bewitching Branches here. We'll go full screen with him.
Bewitching Branch is my beloved. And going for the shield guy first, that's smart. He'll stay alive a little longer. You do the sword guy, he is not great at surviving.
Oh my god, Sai survives on 1.
Oh, that frost.
And the shield guy went down.
Sai is going to have to problem solve a bit here. This is a tough spot to be in.
And now Shura is going for the Red Bear and Rao. Oh, Sai goes down. Sai goes down. So we'll go full screen with Shura here. Yep. Yeah, okay, he still has 1 Bewitching Branch.
Oh, this damage is abysmal, but Wild Strikes here for status effects could help a bit. A bold move out of Shura. I respect this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Shura play, right? Like, this is like one of these plays that only a very select handful of players have the skill to make this play. And of those players with the skill, a smaller handful have the confidence too, right?
Yeah. His knowledge on this boss is insane. That roar would clock pretty much everyone, I'm sure.
Needs to be careful because it can roar and probably will roar again if the fight goes too long. Like, normally you don't see a double roar because the fight is just too fast.
Yeah, but when you're using a +9 weapon in the DLC.
Okay, so Shura is still fighting this Red Bear. We're into the 4-player screen. Sai goes back for the Knights. By the Knights, I mean Nile.
Yep.
Oh, Shura jumped just too early.
Ooh.
All right, we'll go full screen with Sai then. Maybe
This
some
is
game.
also just a problematic fight. Nile is not easy by any means. You have a parry shield actually kind of trivializes him. Obviously, I don't think the players are going to spend time setting that up, especially because this square can be done so quickly by both base game players, right?
Okay, that's the attack. He was trying to bait out that jump slam. That's the attack you want.
For the backstab.
How did that not kill? That's
so
tough.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I don't know how that didn't kill.
And Cyan Shura's aggression here could
Yeah.
put them in a bad spot.
Yeah, Shura's back
Jay's fully
on the
prepped
red
his
bear.
weapon.
And yeah, Jay's going for
good to go.
Moonwithil. So all eyes are on the DLC players here.
And Jay can't take
pivots
it
off. Rambler's also now going for DTS. Looks like he's potentially looking for gold-free Morgott.
I like that play a lot.
Gold-free, obviously, because it's a square, and then Morgott, you would sit on it, but eventually you can use it for DLC access. Because he hits really hard, but he's quite
Yeah.
I think Sai and Shura's aggression is hurting them here. Shura goes down again.
Yeah.
We'll go
Shura
full
probably
screen
needs
with
to pivot.
Jay. Oh, never mind. Jay died again. All right.
DLC's no joke, man.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that you need to consider here, right, is you know this, right? And can probably speak to it better than I can. There's a big difference between doing something in practice and doing it in an official match.
Yeah, I think these players have been practicing a lot, but there is just a level of comfort in practice where, like, you are practicing. These players are pretty professional about it. Like, losing isn't a big deal. It was something I struggled with a bit, is like, I just hate losing in general. So even in practice, it was frustrating. But these guys don't care. Like, their practice is to get better, figure out routing, try new ideas. And I think when you're in the game and the execution becomes, okay, actually, like, I need to do this, that pressure changes, like, how you fight. You can get a little more passive than you would normally be. I think in practice, it's a lot easier to send stuff and just say, hey, if it doesn't work out, whatever. But then you get into the game and nerves can strike, especially first game of a new season, of a new format. These guys aren't streamers, right? I don't know. For me, the people watching
Sai
piece isn't as much of a thing.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Sai streams. That's true.
Well, that goes down again.
But there's something to be said for also, like, if you're not as comfortable with people watching you play, that can also play into it a bit. Most of these guys have played in tournaments before. I don't think that's as much of a thing for them.
I don't
But
think
nerves are weird, right?
Yeah.
They can strike whenever.
I don't think it's a thing for them. Wrong screen.
I would be
Never
surprised.
mind. Jay went down again. Definitely some
Rambler
some game
is
one,
gonna be the
game
carry
one
here.
jitters. Yeah, Ramblers played quite nicely. So he's going for the Black Knives in Ordina, and you can't gravity cheese him. So he got the Sentry Torch and is just killing him.
Yeah, Sentry Torch, a big pickup for this square.
Yep.
If you've ever tried to fight these guys invisible, you're aware of what a colossal pain in the ass that is. I think that was his second Black Knife. So this will be the last one he needs to kill.
And Sai is going back for the Death Ray bird here.
Yep, Death Burden consecrated. Really good runes for Sai. Doesn't really need them as much anymore, but also a relatively quick square.
The only thing I don't like is that he forgot to switch. Like, you have, because these players have the wet blade, you can so freely change your attunement. By the way, Rambler does get that third Black Knife, all of them invis in Ordina. Very nicely done by him. We'll go full screen with Sai here. But you can so easily change your attunement at any side of grace. Cold is really bad for Death Ray birds.
Yeah.
Definitely should have switched to literally anything else. But
I mean, ideally holy, right?
I mean, he doesn't have access to holy, but because the problem is they don't frost and they're resistant to magic, and your overall damage is less because it's a status effect affinity, right? Like you would save a good amount of time.
Even switching to like one of the basic scaling, standard, keen, you know, some heavy, one of those, a little more damage.
Does get that stagger there though.
Looking a little cleaner here through this second fight so far. This attack, always a mess. Gets through it clean though.
Yeah, also this format is just so damn brutal, right? Like, even for like, look at Sai here. Like, yes, he has levels, but your setup is just never good in this. Never, ever, ever good, right? He has some health, yes. He has a good amount of health, but his damage is not great. His talisman setup, I mean, I guess he does have Axe Talisman and stuff, but like, it's just
not exceptional. He doesn't have a, you know.
You're not built at all in this format, right? But he does get the Death Bird down. That is the first square for team time complexity. And they're on the board. Now Shura is going back with that red bear in Rao here.
I believe he just finished upgrading his weapon.
Yes.
It does already look quite a bit better. It's going much faster.
And Jay goes ahead and sets up back section.
So Jay is going to be ahead on progression in the DLC, which could be pretty important here.
Yeah, I remember actually, like, I think I had this conversation with Ellie and some other people are probably there because you know how it is, right? Everyone's in the call at the same time. But we were talking about how, like, yo, you guys are doing all this crazy stuff in practice, but like, let's, you know, it's kind of like a these strats are so crazy, like, let's see it first, right? And I think we kind of saw a little bit where it was like, even for these guys who are the best, might have bit off a little more than they could chew, right? Maybe that's down to nerves, maybe that's down to, you know, whatever it may be, but regardless, didn't work out for him.
No. I mean, if Shura and Sai get that early rush, they're up 3-2 right now, too.
Yeah.
And moving, but those were tough fights to take.
Now, the one player who is an exception, though, Rambler has played his ass off so far today.
Yep. And the red bear is down for Shura. Much cleaner there. Made it look easy. Still underleveled for what you would ever want to be in the DLC. But made it look easy. Is behind now. Jay will have a little priority here on anything else he wants to do. Sure is grabbing Skidoo, which I like. I think getting to...
He's going south. He's going to go ADM.
So both players in the DLC splitting off to do separate things.
And Rambler here is going for gold free.
And I think this is the first fight where we'll see someone really appropriately leveled.
I think this is arguably more than appropriately leveled.
Maybe a touch over leveled.
Yeah. And nicely done there by Rambler. All right, so that's a 3-2 lead for Old But Gold. In terms of bingo lines, just looking at the board here, there's not anything that kind of stands out to me. Just the
super strong.
Yeah, like just the way that the board has naturally progressed. It feels like squares have just naturally block lines, right?
Yeah.
Both players have squares on column 1 and column 3, row 2, row 4. I think potentially that row 1 is interesting.
Yeah. For the DLC player, I mean, that's all you, but
yeah.
it's not. You can maybe manage to get the dupe, right? You already have a remembrance. You can go do that kind of whenever.
And
like maybe you clean up your ghost flames or get one of the transformations, which would be the transformations are a little more challenging, but making your opponent push into one of those squares, knowing where they're going to have to go, is a nice thing to have. I don't know if you could actually push the whole row safely.
And
But
Sai
you definitely
now,
make a very respectable threat out of it.
Sai now has the juice and is going back in for Commander Nile. But if you look there on the right side of your screen, Rambler, he's right next to him, right? If there's another mistake here from Sai, Rambler could snipe this and take a look at these guys have no flasks, right? So they have both Rambler and Sai have 6 + 4 flasks. They have to eat 1.5 basically by doing the skip in order to get into Castle Soul faster. So not a lot of flasks to work with. Either way, this is going to be a devastating snipe for one of these players.
Yeah. If Sai can clean this up here, he's got both ghosts down. Those deaths earlier kind of get negated because Rambler came this way.
Rambler has the bewitching branches. God, that is risky. Rambler risk it for the biscuit, but he gets. Does he get it off?
I like that. He did. He got both the summons.
Damage is pretty even. Like Sai's still a little bit ahead.
I mean, I use those a lot. I was going to say when Sai was first in there, it's probably worth it just to try to get the second one off. But Sai is, I think he has enough of a lead without too much stalling or any big mistakes. He is looking very good right here to get this snipe.
Yeah, it does look like Sai. Well, there's a big stagger. But Sai does get the snipe.
No way in fucking hell, man! I was 4 seconds from the shit.
Sai does get the snipe on Rambler. Rambler's still gonna take the kill just for the money, but there it is, big kill for Sai. I think that was pivotal, right?
Yeah.
Because Sai died earlier, right? To Nile. Seeing if he would have gotten sniped there, I would have had serious worry about his mentality. Bingo is a mental game, especially at like the highest level, right? With these guys, if they are in form, feeling good, they're completely different guys than when they're tilted, right? Just completely different people. And Jay now actually is the one going for ADM here. And you can see Wild Strikes just trivializes him.
Yeah, the nice thing about ADM is like, for whatever reason, he just always goes for a hit. He never tries to back up, and like Wild Strikes is free.
Well, the reason why it's so free too is because he doesn't have any armor on, so he's 0 poise. Or however much poise you get from the transformation.
Beautiful kill.
Oh, Shura needs to be careful here. Shura got knocked down. This is actually good synergy from him though, because he can get both Death Knight here and make progression towards Sword of Light and Darkness.
Yep, can't get the Stone Sheath sword, I believe it's called, to start.
Yes. That's what he is about to pick up right now. Unless he already has it. I'll be straight up, guys. It is very hard for me to follow all 4.
Yeah,
yes. Okay, there's the Stone Sheath sword. I will get better throughout the season.
When he was going in here, I was going to mention that, but we were in the fight. But this is actually probably one of the more synergistic, strong DLC plays on the board.
And Rambler does seem to be making a hard push for mounted bosses here. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi is going for that center square. Rykard, nothing necessarily to do with it position-wise being center square. I am just a little bit surprised to see it still on the board, right? I think as the base game player, I do value remembrance kills a lot because it means that you, especially on a board like this with so many DLC squares, it just gives you the ability to go back and forth between the DLC if you want to. Shura here is going in on the Death Knight, so we will go full screen with him. I will say though, Rykard is a pretty long square to go for.
Yeah. Especially Sai's already leveled, so the runes aren't as big of a deal. But having a remembrance, and honestly, center square position-wise still has some value. Sometimes when you get 30, 40 minutes into a game, it's lost that, but it's still pretty strong.
Yeah, because the main thing to me is that you take priority on the diagonals, right?
Yep.
Especially with Rambler's obviously is about to block it with mounted bosses. Granted, Sai and Shura don't know that. Actually switch up the broadcast here. But yeah, obviously Sai and Shura don't know that, but it just gives you priority on the diagonals because the lines are super important, right? It's not, they don't win games, this is true, right? But those 2 bonus points, that's 2 free squares. Like that is 2 free squares. You know, that is, if you get a bingo, it means you only need to get 11 squares before your opponent gets 13. That is a massive advantage.
Yeah, it's a big swing.
And Jay gets the transformation there. Didn't even register that one, but Jay goes ahead and uses that transformation. I wonder if Jay and Rambler really are thinking about pressuring that row 1. Now Jay does not have a DLC remembrance. Maybe we see a Mesmer kill into a dupe at the Finger Ruins.
That would be really strong because that also builds that column, which won't matter as much once Shura cleans this up. But right now, it's a really good thought because you also got Rambler going mounted bosses. But that Death Knight mark will kind of ruin that idea for them.
Yeah, it would ruin the row, but the column, but the row is still a big threat, right?
The row's still good.
Row 1.
I think if you're looking at the whole idea, there was probably a bit of thought there on that, especially with Rambler going for mounted bosses, build 2 threats at once. Sai did clean up Noble very quickly. I mean, he's so juiced for it. There wasn't much to say there.
And it looks like Rambler here is also going to go for Radahn. Now, this will be only his first remembrance. Granted, he can still kill. He has Morgoth available. Sci-Fi's going Rykard. I think Oathseeker and Black Knight set could be a square that's pretty... Actually, no, Rambler's not going Radahn. He's going for the Final Knight's Cav.
Yep.
But if Sai here does get Rykard, he could make a move towards Oathseeker Black Knight set. And Jay finally makes his way back to Moonrathil. A square that Jay went for very early on, had some issues, and now has come back to. Kind of surprised to see it sit for this long, but hey. If I win Moonrathil at 40 minutes, I will take that every time.
Yep. And there's not a lot of other value in Insys, unless you maybe want to do Rolana for your dupe, but...
Yeah, I just
not really.
I just like that square because it's not a bad position, right? Because you can get, if you think about your Scadu pickups, right? Which I know you start at 5, but Scadu pickups are still really important. Because you can get the Morth Ruins and then the one on the way to the Ensis, behind Ensis, and then the one behind Ensis, right? Like that's 3 Scadu, just very free. And then, you know, kill Moonrathil, right? Also, we have ADM versus Moonrathil right now.
I'm surprised to not see Wild Strikes here on Moonrathil. I am not familiar with this NPC.
He poises through it. He has too much poise. And Sai
that
here
makes sense.
Is fighting Rykard, so we'll go to the dual screen. Bring him up there with Jay. Yeah, he does just unfortunately poise through it. How much armor the NPCs wear is very important for
Wild
Wild
strikes.
Strikes.
And there it is. Good mark.
There it is. So we'll go full screen now aside for Rykard.
And Old But Gold holding a 2-square lead here for the moment.
Earthquake comes out. Guy's just gonna block it.
Yeah, not much you can do about that attack without Valve the Indomitable. That is a reason rushing this boss can be a little nerve-wracking. That attack alone.
Rambler is about to go for Radahn. This will give him one of 2 remembrances for the DLC, as well as access to Valiant Gargoyles and potentially a quick way to Dragonkins. Also, we see Shura here going for the Ghost Flame Dragon.
Yep, already looking at that block on row 1.
Yeah, I think a pretty important block. Once that gets blocked, there's very few bingos left. This is very interesting because Metter is just we said it at the start of the game, but it is by far the longest square in this format. If you do not have it is a square that basically becomes invalid if there is a bingo during the game. It's just too long. No one's going to do it because with the bonus points, it means that and 2 squares will always go unmarked.
Yep.
So I wonder if the way the board's looking now, where it's like, all right, there's not going to be any bingos. Most likely this is going to be a majority game. If we start to see either team prepping for Metter here as Sci-Fi goes down.
Oh, no. It's so late into the fight. That's a brutal spot to go down.
That's brutal. And we're about to see double snaky boys as Rambler gets Radahn there very nicely. And Jay is going to be going in for Mesmer. Oh, my beloved people.
And this is a fight that is no joke. I think the one complaint you could have about Mesmer as a boss is he's a bit squishy. But if you don't really have a lot of skidoo, that becomes not as true. We see there that damage is not exceptional. Status effects are going to have to do a lot of work.
I think this is really big for them too, because Jay can get this remembrance, dupe it at the finger ruins, and then not only is that 2 squares, but also gets them nice priority on Metter, which if this game goes 12-12, Metter's probably, or whether it goes 12-12 or once you get to 12, Metter is a great final square for Jay to go for.
Yep.
He already has south access for that horn. You have to still blow both the horns. He's going to go into the hinterlands after this. I think that's a fantastic square for Jay to look at in the long run.
Really good Mesmer fight here out of Jay. Oh, right on the edge of the phase transition. There it is.
Shura gets down to ADM there. And Rambler's going for Morgott. We're going to stay with Jay, though. We've seen a lot of Morgott. Yeah. I'm new to DLC bingo. I don't get to see a lot of Memer.
Jay, great job there getting out of that AoE.
I hate that attack so much.
That attack is one of the hardest ones to learn, I think, in this whole fight. And it didn't even come close to touching him.
Oh my god, that was greedy. If that didn't stagger, he was dead. Yeah,
Yeah, if that hit doesn't stagger, that is over. That attack also really hard to learn. That really fancy kind of backwards flip slash. I'm not surprised he got clocked by that.
I think he just wasn't expecting it. He was trying to look for opportunities to heal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Jay practices, but I know one of the things for me at least, right? If you practice with no dead on a lot, sometimes healing is something you are out of practice for.
Yep.
Also, Shura is going for the Ghost Flame Dragon. Rambler just killed Morgott. And Mimer goes down. Very nicely done by Jay.
Beautiful.
This will be Shura's second Ghost Flame Dragon here.
Really heads up play for them because I imagine Jay's going to dupe right now, and that could have become a problem at row 1.
Yes.
Ghost Flame Dragon, kind of memeing, but there's a stagger.
Yeah, I mean,
Damage on this is nuts.
Game is definitely not over, but I'll say I think kind of story of the game so far has been Sci-Fi and Shura have just gone very, very aggressive, right? And whether it's just, you know, not their day or preseason or game 1 jitters, right? Just made a few mistakes. Meanwhile, Rambler and Jay, particularly Rambler, has played perfect all day, right? I can't think of a single mistake Rambler's made. And that's kind of, you know, outside of
there's 2 Ghost Flames.
There is 2 Ghost Flames. But outside of the Flying Dragon Grail, that's like kind of a very standard Rambler way where it's like,
yes,
hey, I'm maybe not going to make the most aggressive, most optimal play, but I'm going to play good bingo, not make mistakes. And Rambler's been killing it all day.
Yep.
The other thing about this format too is like he goes aggressive on Flying Dragon Grail at the start, and as a reward for doing that, it just makes so much of his other kills safer, right? In our head, we're like, oh, that's not as aggressive because he actually has health, right? It's so big.
I mean, that's textbook Rambler, and that's kind of why I really like him in this format in general, because it is very possible to get the strong setup early. Flying Dragon Grail's the perfect play for him there if he's confident in it. And then from there, he can very easily play within his fundamentals, just play well, not have to stress any of the crazy stuff like Shura was trying to do, right? He doesn't have to make that crazy aggressive play from there because he's going to be leveled up, so it's not going to feel that aggressive.
Yeah.
And Jay's still heading over for the dupe. I mean, that's a square. Even if it doesn't, you know, your row's done.
And
that's so free.
And Sci-Fi here is making his way towards Valiant Gargoyles.
Yep. I think a good bailout in this scenario, row 3 for Sai and Shura, is a really good way to close the gap.
Mm-hmm. Because they have, you know, Sai has huge prio on Imbibe, right? Memory Stones is, or sorry, not Imbibe. He has huge prio on Rykard. Imbibe and Memory Stones are kind of anyone's game, but that bingo could prove massive if they could still pop it. There's not many left on the board, but that is potentially a big one.
Yep.
And they are going for it because Shura is going for at least setting up PK. Yeah.
Yeah, Memory Stones is the question mark here. Thank God for the health Sai has in this fight, because it is pretty ugly once these guys both come out.
And this is not rando. As you can see, tick damage is fully on. Jay gets the dupe there.
5-8 lead. This bingo line becomes very important, as Rambler is getting the Oathkeeper set and going for the Black Knife set as well. So another square will be marked for Old but Gold. The bingo line for Sai and Shura is now becoming very, very important.
Also, guys, if you like what you're seeing, make sure to drop a follow. Check out the Ignite community. This is not only do we have the Golden Order, but we also have the Crucible that is playing the same format and the Rookie Rumble. This is the first of 45 Golden Order games this season. Every single one of them will be commentated by me. So make sure to stay around for that. And we have another great matchup coming up after this with Dino and Deutz, both of D's, going up against Thomas and Yibe. Expedition 25. 3 Golden Order rookies, actually, in Dino or in Deutz, Thomas, and Yebe, 3 people who are brand new to the Golden Order, and of course Dino, the salty veteran.
Very clean Valiant Gargs fight there as well for Sai after that first one went down. Very easy. All right. Now Jane Rambler are going to have to take a look here.
I think Rambler's looking at memory stones, but I think Sai is too. This is going to be a big memory stones race.
I mean, this line is what Shura and Sai need to win. I think down 6-9, now it's time to really... You played aggressive, you got a little unlucky, and I think the crazy thing is you just have to get more aggressive now.
Jay here is making a move. This is for the Egon's furled finger. Yeah, I was like, this is what the square is. I thought I saw it on the board. Let me make sure.
Very unlucky with the fire there. And this fight's messy.
Is Sci-Fi actually making a move for Hero's Grave here?
He is.
I'm kind of
He's going for the
surprised they're
block.
not. Yeah, I guess you have to, right?
You could let Shura block with Furled Finger, or not Furled Finger, Sword of Light and Darkness, right? Because he already has that prepped.
Oh, and Jay dies. They needed that. Yeah, I think that might have been. It's really hard because this format, it's so hard to track people. That might have been the preferred option, I think. Shura already has 1/2 of the sword, right? He already has the sheath.
Yeah.
And if they lose memory stones, they're in trouble. I think Sai and Shura really need this bingo.
I mean, if Sai gets this, they get Sword of Light and Dark. Furnace Golem's up in the air. Sai has Rykard. There's a case that the 6-9 gap isn't as big because of all the prio you have as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, realistically, there are 3 or 4 squares that are Sai and Shura's already. So maybe they're just staying calm and looking at it like, listen, we may be a little behind, but we got what we need to stay in this. We don't necessarily need the bingo line. We just need them to waste time. Where can we push them? If you do get Rambler to waste time on memory stones, although he is in the DLC, let that be mentioned.
Also,
It's not a bad move for you.
To just be very clear, Roddy and I are not the biggest DLC experts, so we might be talking out of our ass a little bit.
Yep.
It sounds like Asim says that he thinks that we're wrong, which I think I would agree with.
I trust Asim.
Yeah, I would trust Asim over us. When it comes to DLC, at least, for sure. All right, Sci-Fi's making a move here for the Altus Hero's Grave.
This should be a quick fight. I mean, yeah. This is why this format starts going really fast when you have damage like that.
Yeah.
And health to where you could just take like that full combo almost.
All right, there goes
You
the
used to that
Hero's
Red
Grave,
Wolf.
making it 7-9. Rambler is now okay. This is big because Rambler having DLC access that has allowed the team Old But Gold to send Rambler actually to PK for Imbibe, while while Jay goes for Furled Finger. And actually, this is completely flipped because Shura is going Memory Stones.
Yep. I was about to mention that Shura has gone to the base game for memory stones.
Sai's looking at Dragonkin. I will say PK not a super high scaled fight. Like, I think
One of the lower skill fights in the DLC.
Yeah, one of the advantages that the like early DLC player has over a base game player coming late. Obviously, you do start with 5 Scadu, but by running around the DLC and picking up a bunch of Scadu, right? There's a pretty big difference between Scadu 8, 9 and Scadu 5, 6, right?
Yep.
But it's great to send Rambler there, and oh my god, the Sixth Sense of Shura. Shura's back at PK.
It's insane. Sure is in his timing is obscene.
Dude, like if I didn't know better, I would accuse him of cheating, but it's like he does this all the time.
Sure is so good at knowing
Yeah.
when he can push away from his square and when to come back to it. Like, he managed to get Rambler to come towards this because he waited. Rambler wouldn't have come here if he just pushed it. He does it all the time. It's why he's such a good bingo player.
Yeah.
Like, no one else is as good at just knowing their timing the way he is. It's so frustrating to play against.
The one thing that he will lose the advantage of, I think last season, Shura kind of played dumb. He was just like, I don't know, man, I'm just getting squares. And like secretly he had all the timings and everything down and was just kind of being coy, right?
Yep.
He's the champ, right? So no one's going to fall for his bullshit anymore, right?
Yep.
Also, this has been... Jay is having one hell of a time with the Drakes here.
Yeah. It's a messy fight.
This is absolutely huge, though, for Shura inside, because not only do they get the square, but arguably more, but just as importantly, they are wasting so much of Rambler's time.
Yeah. And also, side marking this Dragonkin square might sucker one of them into going Rykart for the block.
Maybe. I mean, this has Shura written all over it of like,
yeah,
let's sucker them into trying to block and waste time. Jay does get Egon's furled finger down. Obviously, it's to go talk to Egon. That will extend the lead to 10-7. Shura should get EK and Dragonkin here, though. This will be size second Dragonkin, so that would make it 10-9. And after that, Memory Stones and Rykard would actually win for Sai and Shura, because they need 4 points. Memory Stones, Rykard, 2 squares, plus 2 bonus for bingo. That's 4. That's a win.
Oh, this is devious plays out of team time complexity. And yep, Imbibe's about to come through. There it is.
There's the mark.
Holy fucking hell, man! I was 4 seconds from the shit.
Rambler gets sniped once again. And Sai is now going in on Rykard for the second time today.
Yeah, and Shura's got the prio on Memory Stones. He's gonna finish that up.
Yeah, it was a shaky start for sure for team time complexity, but this has been one hell of a comeback.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this is without a doubt a Shura plan. Well, we need to ask, but this feels like Shura
I think
really
it's
called the
actually
shots.
if Shura's counter is right and he's at 3 memory stones, as long as Sai does not have a major Rykard incident, I think this is GG. I think Sai and Shura actually will claw it back with the bingo. Because all they need is the bingo and 2 squares and they win. That is 13. Rambler's going for Furnace Golem. Obviously Jay and they're gonna try to make it close, right? Because Jay is gonna be going for sort of light and dark in Furnace Golem. It might end up being like 13-12 at the end of it. I don't think Rambler and Jay are gonna be able to get that 12 square fast enough.
It would have to be Melania or Matir at that point. There's just no way.
Yeah, and they're too far. Because Melania, you don't have the Haligtree Roots Grace. You have to run through Ordina, take the teleporter, right? And then you can go to Haligtree Roots for Melania, right? And obviously Metter is, you gotta blow both horns, do all that.
Yeah. It's really going to come down to Sai here just having the clean Rykard. I mean, he's got a couple shots at it, honestly. It doesn't even need to be clean.
Regardless of this, has been one hell of a game by both these teams. Jay and Rambler just played a beautiful match all game, and one hell of a comeback by Sai and Shura. Beautiful tactics by them, getting them to waste as much time as possible.
Yeah.
To claw back their advantage here.
I mean, you just have no way of knowing Sai is also this far on Rykard.
Yep.
There's sort of light and dark for Jay.
Yeah, Sai's marks have been like, due to the fact that he's made some mistakes today. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because obviously that's a time waste, but on the other hand, it's like it makes it really hard to track him. There's Furnace Golem. Old but Gold's up to 12. They only need one more square.
Jay's gonna start working on.
But Sai gets down Rykard there.
And Shura's gonna be. This might be his last stone.
It's it. That's it. That's it. That's the last
Oh
stone.
my
Shura
God.
wins. They win. Bingo win 13-12.
What a game.
What a
Clawing
game.
it
What a
back.
comeback.
Clawing it back in the last hour for Shura and Sai. Holy.
Holy shit. What a crazy first. I agree. Crazy first game. And look, I just got to say, if you like what you saw here today, this is the first of 45 Golden Order regular season matches that we will be doing throughout the season. In addition, we have the Elden Squares Crucible. We have 12 wonderful teams in the Crucible. I'll be doing commentary on a bunch of Crucible matches, as well as the fact that you can watch them in the Discord. We always have Discord watch parties for the games, even if I'm not doing commentary for them. You can watch all those in Ignite. You can also join, come play, learn the format. My ambitious goal for 2026 is to do 4 bingo seasons, one every quarter. So if you want to get into bingo, want to get into rando, this looks fun to you, come join Ignite. We have a bunch of coaches will teach you. But one hell of a job by both these teams. Really, really.
What a way to kick off the season.
Yeah,
Holy
what a way to
shit,
kick
man.
it off. Really proud of all of them. All right, let's go ahead and pull them in here for the post-match interview. That's my personal Discord cab. Here's Ignite. It's pinned. You can also join my personal Discord if you want updates for like my normal stream and stuff. But yeah, there's Ignite for you. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. GG's one.
GG's.
What a fucking game.
Holy shit.
One absolute hell of a game to
I
open
only have
the
one
season.
question, but go ahead. What a game.
Well, I mean, I want to start with, team Sai and Shura. Obviously, you guys went very aggressive at the start, right? Didn't work out. And then you come back with this crazy line. And the beauty of it was not only obviously getting the line to pop, but also wasting their time, right? Like Rambler went all the way to PK before it was marked, right? You guys did a wonderful job of wasting their time. When did you guys start to think about the line, and how much of it was not only thinking about A, we need this line, but B, we need to probably bait them into some time waste, because if instead of going PK, Rambler goes Melania or something, it could have been.
They get there.
Yeah, they could have gotten it.
Moonrefill was when I was like, we're only winning if we get this line.
Mm-hmm.
It was sure that called the shot, basically.
Because me dying the like, my game plan for this was to, one, I didn't want row 3, but I did want I wanted pressure around that, because what I wanted, I didn't want Red Baron Row base, but there's a lot of weird, I guess it's hard to describe. What I wanted was Ghost Flames Imbibe Death Knight, since and then I wanted to hide the fact that I did imbibe by duping DL3 Remembrance. and then getting south. My initial plan was somewhat to go south. I was forced into the Red Bear play because I don't know if you guys knew, but like if you do push me into, this is only for me, it's not really for the Melania thing, but if Rambler gets Nile and then Jay gets Red Baron round base, they don't have to touch the other two squares because they're out of the way. Like no one's going to the fuck, like they're just so far out of the way that you don't want to do it. And south was the biggest point in the DLC in this game. There was no, so that's why I wanted to get Red Bear. But I fucked up. I should have just upgraded and then done my normal play of just doing Ghost. I should have just done my normal play of just doing Imbibe or something early, and then duping out a DLC Remembrance and Death Knight and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Shura. You made it work. The reigning champion goes ahead and gets his victory game 1. And then, you know, for you, Sci-Fi, you specifically, obviously, you know, I know how much you've put into practicing and things for this event, right? And then when you made some mistakes early on, I was like, I felt my heart hurt for you a little bit, man. I was like, damn, yeah. I hope he's good. But then obviously, you know, you turn it around and have such a great end game that was absolutely necessary for you guys to come back and win. How were you able to kind of flip that switch in your head and just turn it on and focus on, you know, what was in front of you?
Well, I mean, like, kind of the way I look at this is like a lot of the players in the league are just insane at execution. So if you put me head to head with them, I'm just gonna like either be slower than them or die because of like not having enough like health. Like I'm like, because of I've done so much random, like a very sloppy player. So like I tend to take a lot of hits and trade. So like I mean I went aggressive with like Nile in the beginning, but I still like went Radon first so I could get like some stats, and then I just like, I've never gave the shield guy the little bewitching branch before. I saw someone do it and I was like, oh, maybe this is better. So I tried that and it blew up in my face.
Yep.
But after the Deathrite Bird, because like I tried Nile twice with the bewitching branch and that was bad. And then after I got the Deathrite Bird, which also took me 2 tries, I just had so much stats at that point that I just like, I felt comfortable running it after that. Like it was really just getting the first kill like on the board, getting my first square. That kind of just brought me back into it mentally because it was really shitty in the beginning.
Yeah, and I gotta say that
I was starting to panic.
So the Nile was a very close snipe.
Yeah,
really?
Ramblerhead was running behind you when you got into the fight. It was a good snipe actually. You maybe dying there kind of caused some time wasting.
That's 2 things that happened this game. It died to Rykard, which saved us on the bingo line. Like I have like 50 Vig. Like how do you even die there? It's because I was trying to greed the like follow up Ash of War, and I canceled the loop, which I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, dying to Nile and Rykard I guess ended up wasting more time. Like it's kind of funny. Like you'd think like bad execution like just ruins your game, but in this case like it just worked better somehow.
I mean, I actually mentioned it. I said it makes it harder to track, right? Like it's like what has Sci-Fi been doing? Oh, he's been doing all of this. He just didn't.
I was happy when you said that you died at Rykard. I was like, dude, guards, bro. I was like, he marked him out because it is one of the most psycho things to like ask for your teammate to just fucking quit out of a fight. And hold on to the Rykard square since Rambler marked 6 bosses, but you dying there, I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to tell you to do that shit, bro. Because that is what I wanted to tell you. I was like, just quit out and fucking do guards. I'm like, and hold on to Rykard
considered it because he marked it right when I got the grace. I was like, dude, I should just port out because he's nowhere near this. He did mounted bosses, which means Radon. Like I'd need to go Valiant Gargs was what I was thinking, but
yeah, I fucked
was just kind of in go mode.
Well, the initial play was just not possible to happen because of the or at least just how I thought of that row 2 in terms of that pressure. Like legit, the best play, if anyone's trying to play this format, if you ever see that, if that row 2 Flying Dragon into Nile, that's your base game player's opening because Grail gives you a bunch of runes and then Nile's pretty basic afterwards. And and then Red Baron Route Base is a really fast rush square. If you do that, if you get those 3 squares, you've won the game, because the DLC player cannot do anything now. They have to go either block with Mesmer. It doesn't matter, like the Melania doesn't matter, but it's like the Mesmer problem. Like Mesmer's the problem there, because nothing is over there. You don't want to ever go into like, you just don't want to go into Shadowkeep that deep on this board.
Yeah, well,
And you'll just lose all of South if you do that.
Well, thank you very much, Sci-Fi Intro. It was one hell of a comeback, one hell of a first game. I do want to come talk to Rambler and Jay, because I mean, both teams did a hell of a job, right? I think your early game was pretty perfect. Rambler in particular, like everyone. I want to give flowers to Rambler, because I think everyone kind of had that first game jitters. There were some maybe uncharacteristic mistakes that we didn't see in practice. But you guys being the wily old but gold veterans, really showed off your poise. And like I think Rambler was deathless this game.
No.
There
was one very pivotal death. I was thinking, okay, row 3 is the problem here. I'm gonna half prep memory stones and PK, and somehow I went to the wrong place to drop down in whipping, and I died. I said, okay, let's just full send PK. I don't care. And that was the mistake, because I was planning on getting to 3 memory stones. I had 1. Planning to get to 3 and then go PK. If I do that, I did the same. Get it.
I prepped 3 memory stones, and then I ran all the way to PK, then I did memory stones, and then I went back, killed PK, and then I finished with the last 2. On God, bro. I just figured y'all were gonna race to 13, because I was like, there's no way they're blocking this line. So I didn't expect anyone to contest that. That's why I did it like that.
There was a way for me to block the line, I can tell you that.
Yeah, there was definitely a way, but I think you guys both, like Jay, you played a beautiful game in the DLC as well. Like both of you guys just played so well. I loved how you got Rambler into the DLC quickly, like how you're able to orchestrate Rambler into DLC in on such a DLC heavy board, who's able to continue to get more squares. Obviously,
the Oathkeeper.
Obviously,
I thought you had Melania.
Obviously didn't go your way, but kind of for both of you, like what are kind of the takeaways from this game? Maybe some of the things you want to improve on, or just digest after this week, and so you can bounce back and be strong as ever next week.
For me, you guys answered my only question, which was I felt that we were ahead most of the game in like certain areas, and clearly that was right, albeit some incidents. That's fine. This personally, to me, I don't know if I'd classify it as a like bounce back, because I think we played great. Obviously that happens, right? An incident I had. My only 2 issues was I sent Moonerthil really early, Shura, and I just kind of like I didn't get aggroed by the little Glintstone boys there, so because it was night, so I thought I was safe, and then they intruded the fight, and then I tried it a second time. And then Egon's Furled Finger, I was on Torrent 99% of the fight because they just were memey. But other than that, I think we executed great. I don't know. You guys just played really well, and I'm very satisfied with this game. It might be 0-1, but I'm very happy with that game.
I think I would feel the same way in your shoes. I think you guys played awesome. It just
y'all played better, because I fucking died like 10 times.
Yeah, we were farming our KDs for the bosses.
That's fine by me though.
Well,
I know what to. I should always just do what I think I should do and not do some dumb shit like that.